Good morning.
There he is. What's up, man?
What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Oh, we're great.
Good. All right, I got the mic right on the first try. That never happens.
I was about to say, you're coming in here with a mic and everything.
Man. And I don't have a baby in tow.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Marco, you got to show the shirt right away. You got to show.
Oh yeah, so we have a bit of a theme today. So this is Vivi, by the way. She's got the baby Yoda.
Oh wow,
I'm rocking
yes.
Vader. What's Chi-Chi got over there? Yep, Mando.
Yes.
And then Tommy. So we're huge.
All I got is this. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna come shirtless, but no, I didn't.
I told you that was gonna be a good idea.
I figured we figured it was gonna be a half naked or potentially fully naked episode. So we were prepared just in case.
Whatever. We're dads. We're cool.
Yeah. At least from the bottoms down. At least from bottom down.
Awesome. Well, Tony, thank you so much.
Oh yeah,
we're super pumped.
How could I say no to a podcast titled Deadlifts, Dogs and Dads, or Deadlifts, Dads and Dogs, or however the alliteration goes? It's
Triple D is what we got. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Close enough, yeah. Funny enough, what gave me the idea for it was the Guy Fieri show, the diners, drive-ins, and dives. So I figured if he could pull it off, we could do it too.
Yeah. Well, thank you for accommodating me. I know this isn't your normal recording time, so I appreciate you guys.
No problem at all. Yeah. No problem.
Oh no, you're good, man. This honestly worked out even better. This is I'm actually going to be a stay-at-home dad, so I'm going to be doing mostly virtual work anyway with training. So that's so it's honestly for me it's pretty easy either way. So as long as we have Zoom and
great.
Wi-Fi,
and are all three of you trainers?
Yeah.
We are.
Okay. Yeah. And where are you guys located exactly? Like I'm assuming you guys are not in the same city, or are you?
We're all within probably 2 miles of each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you are.
Yeah. We're all Boston, Somerville area.
Oh, you are. Oh my God! I didn't realize
all four of us.
Oh, jeepers!
All four of us are within.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea you guys were here. Okay, so I'm in Brookline, so.
Let's say, Tony, I've been to your facility one time. I think it was a couple of years ago. We did a little technique audit a couple of years ago. I worked for.
My brain sucks.
I hear you.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yep. So. Yeah, that's great. So you got all three. Yeah, we're all very close to each other. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to work at Mike Boyle Strength Conditioning, and now I'm a trainer over at Lifetime in Burlington.
Gotcha.
So
okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. So we're all. And are you back in Lifetime? Like they're doing one-on-one possibly? I
yeah.
Okay.
So we're all back. Yeah, we got back a few months ago. So yeah, we're up and running.
Good. That's great. That's good news.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And then DeMarco and Tommy, I know you. Where are you guys doing exactly? As far as you guys are coaching in home, right? As far as you guys, Tommy and DeMarco.
Yeah, I've built my own little. I call it a dojo, just like in my little basement. It's like 200 square feet, and just a bunch of kettlebells and.
Yep.
Honestly, the only reason I call it a dojo is because it feels weird being like, "You want to train in my basement?" Like,
you get someone mentions basement, you get a little bit of a Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill kind of vibe. So
it does the swing or does the squat again.
And I'm somewhere in the middle. I have a couple of in-person clients that I have private, and then do virtual, some Zoom sessions, and some programming clients, and we're kind of in a transition phase, so it's exciting stuff. So very pumped. And obviously, most people that are on this that are going to watch this show probably know who you are, Tony. But if you don't mind, why don't you give us kind of the quick and dirty, the Cliff Notes version of like who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So we're officially recording now. Okay.
Are we recording? I was actually just about to ask that before we do anything because I don't see the recording.
I see it. No, I see it.
Yeah, we're good.
Do you?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I see it.
I hit record immediately when we started, so you guys are good.
Okay.
Because I was sending text messages. Sorry, I was sending text messages and like fucking record.
Yeah, I've had technical issues before. These guys are keeping me on it.
That's the worst. When you forget to hit record, that's the worst.
Yeah, or you forget to turn on the microphone. Which we've done before too.
Oh, I think I haven't done that one yet.
You guys want the Cliff Notes version? So you mean just in terms of my career, or like my exploits?
Mostly, mostly your zodiac signs, what you do. I'm kidding. Yeah, kind of what got you into this? Like, what started your career, or at least started the idea of your career?
I've said this story numerous times, so I hope I'm not repeating to those who have listened to me on previous podcasts. But I watched a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone movies in the 80s and early 90s. So I often say that that was where my journey began. That kind of manifested into, man, those guys are pretty jacked. That looks kind of cool. Girls don't know who I am. Maybe this will help. And and I'm the only one in my immediate family who's remotely health conscious, like in the context, like I went out of my way to work out and go run and play sports. And obviously my family knows what healthy is, but in terms of like pursuing like endeavors that help me become a better athlete and like working out and stuff like that, I was really the only one that did that. And I played a lot of sports growing up. I grew up in a very, very rural area of New York. In the Finger Lakes regions. Like, I'm not originally from here, and baseball was kind of like my gig. And I just kind of thought like, hey, if I lifted weights and got a little stronger, I might be able to hit the ball a little bit further, throw it a little bit harder. I just kind of naturally gravitated to that. And thankfully, I was able to play at the collegiate level out of my hometown, and not many kids out of my hometown were able to do that. And that developed into pursuing fitness as a career. Once I knew I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player, I had to come to that sad fact that not many teams were looking for a right-handed pitcher that threw 88 miles an hour. So I then I transferred back to school near my hometown and got a degree in health education. And part of that degree involved me getting an internship at a corporate fitness center near Syracuse, New York, and they hired me right out of the gate when I was done. So, and then that developed into going on the internet and finding these forums that I never knew existed, and all these like-minded individuals. And this is like early 2000s. So, I think 2002 was like my indoctrination into Testosterone Nation, TNation.com.
Oh yeah. I still love those articles, man. They're so good. I love.
I never knew sites like that existed until I had a job, and
same.
And then that's where I met Eric Cresty. We met each other via forums there and on other forums. And
I didn't know that.
And as the story goes, like we ended up becoming roommates. And then worked at the same gym in Connecticut. Then we both moved to Boston, and we're still roommates. And then we opened up Crusty Sports Performance, which turned out to be an okay decision.
It seems like it.
I'd say it's done modestly well. It's
okay for itself.
I might have heard of it.
So it was Cressy. I thought it was a Cressy.
Who's that?
Cressy. Yeah. I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
That was a weird conversation to have with my mom, where I was a personal trainer. I was working in corporate fitness, and I was a personal trainer for 5 years in the Syracuse area. And then I remember talking to my mom, say, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Connecticut with this guy I met on the internet. And and that and I'm not exaggerating, that's how it went. And her eyebrows lifted, like, what?
That's
like,
really
what are you
funny,
doing?
It's amazing how the world has changed. Don't go meet people on the internet, and now we literally use the internet to get in people's cars.
Exactly. And and like when he and I met, that was a time where it was still kind of shady or weird, or to meet people on the internet without really knowing them in person. Now, of course. Now you guys are right. It's like not a big deal at all. And so I was at Crusty Sports Performance for 8 years. I left in 2015, and now I just run a small personal training studio here in Brookline. And I just train people to become badasses and deadlifting terminators. So
deadlifting terminators. I like that.
I like that. Yeah,
that might have to become a shirt, Tony. We might have to put that as a t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a way. There's some kind of graphic that can be made.
Absolutely.
That's actually pretty. That's actually pretty
awesome.
awesome.
I think the rest of this interview, I'm just going to be thinking about that. I might zone out on.
Well,
you
it's
guys.
fun. Like I've traveled I've traveled around the world presenting, and there's been 2 instances where I've come across life-size Terminators.
Awesome.
One was at a Das Gym, which is the most baller, badass gym in the history of gyms.
A hell of a name.
In Vienna, in Austria. So
I would do it.
It's called Das Gym. It's called The Gym.
That's awesome.
And they had in their waiting area. Now, I wouldn't even say it's a waiting area. It's just like an area where people could just chill. There's a couple couches, and they have a life-size Terminator.
That's amazing.
Right there. And then another one
was it fully operational? Was it fully
operational? Like it didn't
good.
move. It was just a statue.
Okay,
and then
good.
The other one was I believe it was a random barbershop in Melbourne, Australia, that had a Terminator. And I was like, well, I guess if I were to live here, that would be where I get my hair cut. Like,
absolutely.
That would, I mean, if I had hair. So I don't know. Maybe when I expand into my larger gym space, I'll have to see about getting a life-size Terminator or just T-shirts. It'd probably be cheaper. The cheaper avenue.
It might have to be a thing. Yeah.
Oh, is that on the horizon for you? Like going into a new space, or is that kind of like a one day?
That's been on the agenda since right before COVID. I was like at the cusp. I found a larger gym space. Like lease was signed. It was just contingent. It was contingent. Well, it ended up being fine. It was contingent on waiting for the town of Brookline to approve the use of the space. And obviously COVID hit, and that would have kind of sucked balls to try to open up a gym in the midst of everything being shut down.
Especially upgrading and expanding.
It would have sucked. So luckily I was able to kind of take a force majeure approach and back out of the lease, which is great. And now I'm at a point where I'm about to sneeze. Sorry.
Pollen's kicking ass.
It's like coming. It's like there, but it's not there. And now I'm at a point where I've looked at, my wife and I looked at a different space here in Brookline. It's perfect. But it's just waiting. So that is the next step for me, is just opening up a larger footprint. And my model is such where, of course, I'm running my own show. Like I train my own clients, but when I'm not using my space, I have other fitness professionals lease or sublease the space.
Awesome.
Basically rent it when I'm not using it. And my goal is to make that a bigger model, and where I have like a space where I provide the sexy, cool space, and then I allow these other fitness professionals to come in to thrive and run their own business and build their own brand. And I think there's going to be a market for that now that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm actually so happy you're actually mentioning that and everything. So like I said, I've been training out of my dojo basement for the past year, and I'm currently in the application process of getting a lease to do the exact same thing you're doing in Brookline.
Yep.
With these two little bastards.
Yeah.
So,
it's smart. I mean,
and it's like right around the corner. So like I'm actually really happy you brought that up.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I know the model works with a small studio, and I've just outgrown the space. Like, in order for me to scale the business, I have to have a larger footprint. Because the space is small, so there's only one coach in there at a time. I really like the idea of having 2 or 3 coaches simultaneously doing their thing. But then also my wife, who is a psychologist, she's going to have her private practice out of there. And I'm also bringing in physical therapy. I have friends that want to do it. So it's kind of like I kind of foresee this kind of one-stop shop. People can train. They can also go get PT if they need it, nutrition,
awesome,
and then certainly my wife will be there. There'll certainly be a cross-pollination of clients.
Yeah, so, Tony, I think you're an alternate dimension, better, stronger version of me, because funny enough, I'm thinking about doing the same thing in the next, say 3 to 6 years. My wife's actually going through her psychiatry residency right now.
Oh, wow.
And I've been thinking when we figure out where we're going to live more long term in a few years when she finishes training, kind of doing the same thing, fitness center, area for her to practice, if she decides to go into, private practice. So we may have to have another Zoom later down the road about that.
By all means.
Cool.
And my wife, I mean, she works with a lot of gyms and fitness professionals. I've kind of nudged her in that direction because,
awesome.
My years at CSP and then my own, the stuff would come up with my own clients. Like they'd be bringing up some heavy stuff and I'd be like, what are we talking about?
Right. Yeah.
And I would kind of defer to her and ask her like, hey, how should I handle this situation? Or maybe they're unmotivated and I need to kind of like light the fire a little bit. And certainly with gym owners, I mean, there's a lot of stress involved in working with different people. And, and she's done a lot of consulting with gyms and other fitness professionals. But certainly she has her private practice too, where she's dealing with drug addiction and all that stuff.
Yeah. But that's amazing. That takes an incredible amount of compassion.
And her degree, she's a PhD in sports psychology, and she kind of emphasizes exercise psychology. Like she really encourages her patients to embrace physical activity and whatever form motivates them. It doesn't have to be strength training. I mean, she loves strength training. I mean, she's pretty diesel herself.
Nice.
I feel like she has to be.
She's a meathead her whole life. Like her dad was into lifting weights, so she gravitated to lifting weights pretty early.
Good.
And so yeah, we feel there's a nice synergistic approach there. So. And yeah, so I'm just waiting. I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs, which is a nice problem to have. Like I'm not, I understand there are many of my, I know numerous friends and colleagues who have had to shut down permanently, and which has been a fun thing to listen to. So I've been very fortunate that, I've been able to stay steady. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, well, I'm looking to scale it. Like, what can I do, or where can I put it? And, there's only, and I want to stay in Brookline. And there's only so many finite like spots that can really hold a gym and the size that I need it to be. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm not boring your listeners.
Absolutely not.
No. One thing I've learned like doing all of this, like as long as we're all interested, we're having a good time. People will just listen to people having a good time. It's like watching a cat walk across the stage during a play. Like everyone's gonna be walking the cat because the cat's just being a cat. Just in the real time.
And like with me, like with my clients, like the environment, like speaking of fun, it's like I'm playing techno or 90s hip hop, and there's oftentimes I might have a movie playing on silent on the TV or a baseball game, and I really with the larger space, I envision that, but then, just at a larger scale, like I really kind of foresee a scenario where it's like, it could be like a Tuesday night and I have techno blaring and I have like ambient light on and we're just deadlifting with black lights on. Like, I mean,
that's amazing.
We are literally going to be running the same facility. Like whenever you leave yours, we're going to be opening the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right over here.
That's awesome.
So, it'll be fun. It's just a matter of when, at some point, I mean, I was hoping it was going to happen in June, but it's just been a slow process of negotiating. There's like 7 levels of negotiating, and it just takes time, but it's a good problem to have. Like it doesn't, it's going to happen at some point. So it's just, I just don't know when.
The negotiating's the hardest part. Now we were talking about your career for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So just this past year, I believe it was over COVID that you suffered a pretty serious injury.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Like what a shitty. Are we allowed to swear in this podcast? By the way,
say whatever you want, man.
Yeah, man. There's a reason why DeMarco has his headphones in.
Okay.
Exactly. You're good. We're clear, man.
So of course, it's been a shitty year for everyone. And last April, so everything shut down. I think it was like mid-March, everything was shut down. I just got back from Europe because I was over there traveling, and like COVID was like following me. And I just made it home in time. Like a week later, like they shut down airlines. I was like, glad I made it home.
Yeah. Shoot.
But then we shut it. Massachusetts shut everything down, and we were here. It was like 6 weeks, and then Governor Baker was like, all right, well, it's going to be at least another 6 weeks before, we even think about opening schools or daycares. And so my wife is originally from Florida. and her mom still lives down there. So we were like, fuck it. Look, we should just get in the car, drive to Florida with our 3-year-old, and just go down there indefinitely and just at least be down where the weather's nicer and we actually have a grandma to help.
There we go.
So we did that and it was lovely. It was like I hate being hot, but Florida in May is amazing.
It is.
It's 75, 80 degrees every day. It was awesome. I had, I was still training my clients virtually, but I would have like a pool and like palm trees in the background rather than like what you guys see right now.
Right.
So that was nice. And but also her hometown is it's about 45 minutes north of West Palm Beach. And Eric had just transitioned his facility from Jupiter to Palm Beach Gardens, which is in West Palm Beach. So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know he
once
moved.
a week we would just drive to Palm Beach Gardens to go train at the new facility down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So which was great because then it's like, okay, then once a week we were able to like get a barbell in our hand and like be around, like just lift some heavy shit. Because I hated pool workouts are just not like, we brought some kettlebells and bands with us, so we did some like poolside workouts. I don't get excited to do that. I'm like whatever. So it was nice to be able to like leave Julian with grandma, and my wife and I would just drive to Palm Beach Gardens and have like, that was our date night. It was like, okay, we're gonna go lift. So lo and behold, we went down there. I was doing some sprinting. I was doing a jump back start. So essentially you kind of jump up a little bit and your back foot plants and you go. My back foot planted and I ruptured my Achilles. So
I'm shaking off.
Not that imagery.
So that was fun. So that happened. So then I got, I don't know, 3 days later, I got on a plane and flew back up to Boston by myself.
That makes sense.
Got my surgery, and then Lisa followed suit with Julian and drove back up a week later.
Gotcha.
So but now, so I'm coming up on a year. I'm about 90% back. It's a pesky injury, but I've been able to train. I was pretty aggressive with my training, even like a week after my surgery.
I was about to ask. Yeah,
I really wanted to demonstrate to people that, despite a significant injury, you can still train. The trainable menu, I said, I'm going to find my trainable menu. I'm going to show you how I'm still going to maintain like a pretty good training effect, even through a pretty significant injury. Like I was in a cast for, 2 weeks, then a boot for, I think 3 months or 2 months.
It's time.
I trained around it. I was able to, I was adamant. I was like, listen, like, I can't train my right leg how I want to train it, but I'm going to train so then when I do go into actual rehab, I'm probably going to bounce back a lot quicker. My numbers are going to come back quicker. So, I just took it upon myself to kind of demonstrate, not being stupid about it, of course. I wanted to demonstrate to people, like, listen, I'm going to respect the process. Like, I'm not going to be a jerk and be like, oh, fuck my doctor, I'm going to train. And, I respected the surgery. Like I waited 3 days, and then eventually I just started doing some small things on the floor and then doing some, like, I trained the shit out of my left leg. I trained my upper body, and I was able, I ended up pulling. So I think back in February, so I did my injury was late May, early June. By February, by February or March, I pulled 560, which isn't my best, but pretty darn close.
It's not
bad though.
Pretty darn good. Yeah,
just catchy. And you're not short. That's a long way for that weight to go.
Yeah.
Let's got to go a ways. Good for you.
Can't
hear him or he went out a little bit.
We lost you, Tony.
Audio gate.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
So I don't know where I cut out, but
last thing, actually, you didn't hear anything. I was just like, you're really tall. The weight's got to go a long way, and then that was kind of
okay.
I was like, something I said.
All I said was like, I mentioned I was 90% back, and all I mean by that was I don't have full dorsiflexion back in my ankle, so like sprinting is still not quite there. Like I'm not like going out and doing sprints and stuff like that. But and it's certainly stiff still. But in terms of like what I can do in the gym and with lifting weights, like I'm pretty much can do what I want.
That's
the
good.
plyometric stuff, the power stuff, and movement is still a little bit ways to go, but certainly. But they say on average it's a year for full recovery.
Right.
Non Wolverine.
Yeah. Right.
Do you
have
think
that immediate regeneration, right?
Yeah. Now, do you think like physically, let's say we back at 100? Do you feel like it's gonna be like a little bit longer, like psychologically, before you're able to like do those movements again? Because like you see it all the time with like NFL players or pro athletes when they pull a hamstring or something, they're back, but they're not back.
Yeah, psychologically,
you know what I mean?
like I've kind of approached it where it's like, to me, like me not having to do a bunch of like sprinting and cardio stuff hasn't been the end of the world for me. I'm like, I never really enjoy doing it anyway.
Fair.
So I was like, when it comes back, I mean, it will come back. Like, my wife and I are actually very much interested. Like, we can't wait till we can start going back to the Harvard Stadium again and like doing some stairs and or going to BU and like using the field and like doing just like easy movement stuff, like some build ups and stuff like that. But and I think if I could do that now. It's just we're not allowed to yet. So in terms of like having open space, I mean, there's only so many spaces in the city that you can even do that sort of thing. So but yeah, psychologically, I think I'm fine. Like hasn't been a downer at all. But I mean, comparatively speaking to what a lot of other people are going through, I really don't have much to complain about.
Awesome, man. Like that's good because 2020 just kind of went, you know what? We're just gonna add one more living to it. There's fuck you and it's like you're gonna go through this with COVID and one Achilles tendon.
Yes, and then certainly all the business stuff and I mean it was, but we got through it. We got through it. So well, I mean, kind of, we're almost there. Like I'm 2 days away from my second shot. So
there we go.
That'll be a good one.
I'm itching to at some point travel. Like I really don't have anything. I don't have anything planned in terms of like travel and work. But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Are you a big travel? So sorry, Marco, go ahead.
Like
we could talk. Okay, that might be a whole other podcast, just me and you talking about travel.
Oh, travel? Oh boy.
Man.
I'm lucky because I kind of, for lack of a better term, I get to subsidize my travel.
My God, that's right.
Yeah. So every time, I mean, usually if I travel across the states or if I'm going overseas, it's usually to do a workshop. And then selfishly, like I take. I could write it off and I take a few days and I be a tourist. So
oh my God,
I miss that. I miss it tremendously because I love London. I love travel. So I never thought that would be me, but especially being from a small town, I never would have thought I would be traveling the world and people want to pay to listen to me, but they do, and it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. I know. I've kind of been dominating the questions. I'm going to let these guys get a couple in, but dude,
Eric,
same.
Take over.
Same.
Yeah, Eric, we've been talking over you, man.
Well, DeMarco, hold on. Let me get it. I want to talk about travel real quick. Real quick.
All right.
I know. You have the EP note. You have the EP notes in your phone. Check them. No, so like I'm the same. Like just real quick. I don't want to get too into it because I could babble. Like when I turned 30, I backpacked around the world for 2 months.
Oh man.
Awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. It was incredible. I got tattooed in Thailand. I saw fjords up in Norway. It was a good time. I saw the Red Sox play the Yankees in London. That was awesome. Oh
yes. That was a couple years ago. Yeah. That would have been, when that happened. I was like, that must've been awesome.
Oh, it was such a good time. Me and you, we can talk about that later, but like, I want to like get that into it. I've been dominating it. So what do you guys go ahead?
I'll take over. So yeah, Tony, a big thing with I've been a big fan of you for a while, for years, obviously, even before I saw your facility, back in the Cressy day, Cressy Sports Performance days when I was at Boyles, I used to always read your articles and your website. Awesome. Great content.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm always doing that. But a couple quick questions. I think big thing with me is so what would you say your biggest values are as a coach? Like if you go top 3, what would you say they are?
Like what I look for, like in myself, or what I just like with other coaches?
We'll go with both. We'll start with yourself, and then we'll say with others.
I think my strength, or what is a value, is I don't pigeonhole myself into one way of thinking. Like I don't I don't say like, oh, like you have to low bar squat, or you have to do this deadlift, or you have to lift heavy, or I really lose respect for some coaches who are very one thought, like it's this way, it's my way or the highway. You're an idiot if you don't follow this way. And there aren't many coaches out there like that. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think we can all collectively think of a few that are that way. And I mean, they get results, and that's fine. It's just not my approach. I think I tend to be like an even in the middle kind of guy. Like I don't feel like my pendulum goes too far to the left or to the right on any one given topic. With regards to getting people, healthier, stronger, moving better. That to me is a value and a strength on my part, and also that I look for in other colleagues of mine. Like I feel like we all kind of gravitate toward friends and colleagues who are more similar than dissimilar than we are. So I like to think that the bulk of my colleagues, and I know many people in the fitness industry, and like, sure, on Twitter, like we argue about stupid shit. But like we argue about like 3% of the stuff that we disagree on. The rest of it is like we all agree on mostly everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I like Twitter. Twitter is not real life. That goes with like politics, strength and conditioning, Twitter, anything. It's just, what you see people chirping on Twitter or whatever social media platform we want to talk about.
Reviews aren't even real.
It's not real life. So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question. I know you probably asked for 3, but that's the biggest one in my eyes.
I think that's
people
who are
able to stay a little bit more open-minded and can lean into other people's way of thinking and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with that. Being with the Mike Boyle crew, I think that was the one thing that resonated with me. He changes his mind, on a lot of topics.
Yeah. And I respect Mike for that. Like I remember I was at the I don't know if it was Strength Coach 2 or 3 where the one where he basically said, "Hey, I don't back squat people anymore."
Yeah.
Right. I was at that presentation, and I remember like during lunch break, like a couple people like, "What?" He's like, "What the fuck's he talking about?" Like and I mean he made and makes a valid point for it, and honestly like he gets results, so who gives a shit? Like me personally, do I still back squat my clients and my athletes? Yes, but I don't it's not a definitive thing that I'm doing. It's
exactly.
Like you said, Tony, you're not married to one style.
No, not at all. No.
That's the big takeaway there.
No, yeah, we're supposed to adapt and change as our careers grow. Actually, I just remembered. So, like, one of my favorite things I've ever heard, I say all the time, but also I got from you is if you don't look at your programming every 5 years and throw open your mouth a little bit, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, there's certainly stuff that yes, do I have my clients squat and deadlift? Yes, absolutely. But the variation is where everything differs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't marry myself. Like, I don't feel like everyone has to deadlift from the floor with a straight bar. I mean, most of my clients use a trap bar. I remember
support that decision.
I remember some people like, "Oh, don't you think you're cheating if you're using a trap bar?" I was like, I don't give a flying fuck. Like,
like it's a hinge.
All I care is that they're doing something safely and that they're getting stronger. That's all we really care about. They're not competing, so who cares?
That's the goal. That's the key, right? Is what's the goal and what are we training for?
Sure. So yeah, like that. But outside of that, like I'm a pretty even keeled, chill dude. Like, I don't feel like I'm one of the people in the industry that have an ego. Like I'm not combative. I don't go out of my way to be what's the word I'm looking for?
Down to earth.
Well, I'm down to earth, yes, but I don't go out of my way to be controversial.
Okay, there you go.
In the sense of like, okay, I need to put up this video or say this thing, so I get people's eyes and ears on me. Like, I honestly don't like that. I don't like to be center of attention. Which sounds a bit weird, given that I travel the world and I present, and I'm a known name in the industry, but I'm also an introvert. I hate being on camera. Like,
sorry, man.
No. It's weird because, like, I know the time you guys know Dean Somerset.
Yeah.
He and I have filmed 2 workshops together. Like, we've done dozens of workshops together, but we filmed 2: Complete Shoulder Hip Blueprint 1 and 2. I often, we've done that collectively probably between the 2 of those over 20 times. We've only filmed them twice, and every time the camera's on me and they're filming, I feel like I have to watch what I say. I have to make sure I'm correct.
God, I know.
I get in my head. That's what I mean when I hate being on camera. I'm a pretty good presenter. Like, I feel like there's a bit of entertainment value involved. Like, you are kind of putting on a performance.
Of course.
But yeah, like, in terms of like, I have a good friend of mine in London, Luke Worthington, who's all about, like, he wants to be he's done a couple of TV shows, and he likes being on camera and like being like he's actually going to probably be doing a Netflix show eventually. Awesome. You couldn't pay me to do that. Like, I had no interest in doing something like that. I like, training my clients and getting them results, and I love writing. I love presenting, but
I love your blog post.
Sorry, guys. I'm like, oh, me. Like, I'm cool. Like,
you're the guest, man.
Tony, I gotta say, Tony, I've been reading your stuff as well over the years, just like Garrick has, and I do actually really enjoy your writing style, and I love the way you write the articles. I love how it's, again, down to earth. You're giving people good actionable tips and information, but you're always throwing in some nerdy shit. There's always some funny, like, Star Wars techno stuff.
I got to,
and I love it. You got to be you, man. No one wants to read a textbook. You know what I mean?
I say it facetiously, but I'm a hard person to plagiarize. In the sense, like, my writing style is pretty distinct. Because you're right. Like, I'm not scared to put in some pop culture references, and I try to keep the entertainment value pretty high, because the stuff can be pretty bland at times.
Absolutely. Of course.
Talking about scapular upward rotation. Not the most exciting topic in the world, but if I can throw in some, like, Jennifer Lopez comments or Star Wars trivia, then that always lightens people's attention span a little bit more.
And it makes it so much easier to digest. It's just like, you could say, like, yes, upward scapular rotation, which is just like, shoulder blade, go that way, and then it's like, oh, I get it. Okay.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's perfect. Exactly.
Oh man, so we're rolling well. I can't believe we've already been talking for this long.
40 minutes. Awesome. Wow.
40 minutes. All right. Oh wow. So we've gone 40 minutes. Are we finishing with the dad joke, or we should just go after it?
I was thinking we do the rapid fire questions.
Oh, rapid fire.
We'll rapid fire, and then we'll end with the dad joke. We'll have them go with the dad joke at the end.
Don't worry, Tony. There's no right or wrong answer. So
I always get skeptical on rapid fires, because then I feel like, oh man, if I'm not the quickest thinker in the world, so I gotta be like, okay.
So to make you feel better, we're basically gonna try to do the same way you do with try to keep the entertainment value high.
Yeah.
So the questions are gonna be about anything and everything. So just so this is on, I've been on a few. I think this might be the first rapid fire we've done, right, guys?
Yes, it is.
All right, bring it.
I know.
Bring it.
Pressure.
So just so we're not interrupting each other, Eric, go first. DeMarco second. I'll go third.
Okay.
We'll go until we get time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask a bunch in a row, and then I'll just have DeMarco or Tommy take over.
Okay, do it. Let's go.
All right.
Come on. All right.
Listen, dogs or cats?
Cats. I own my cat. My wife. Can I pontificate a little bit, or you just want me to shut up?
Of course.
Yeah.
So I get it. Your guys' podcast has dogs in it. I get it.
Yeah.
I grew up with dogs, so I'm not anti-dog. We can be,
Okay,
you can
good.
have both. Like you can.
I was about to shut this off, by the way.
Like I grew up with dogs, but in the city, like, you know, when my wife and I moved in together for the first time, we moved into an apartment that had mice. We didn't know it at the time until we moved in.
Ooh.
So out of necessity, we got a cat.
That's fair.
It wasn't our first choice, but then of course, you know, we fell in love with her, and we still have the same cat. So
We have a cat as well.
She was our kid before we had a kid. So
that's
smart.
A fair answer.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to cats, so that's the only reason why I have a little resentment to cats.
Same.
But
I actually, you know, I live in an apartment complex, but there's I don't know, like there's over 100 apartments in this building, and I see people all the time with their dogs in the elevator taking them outside. I want no part of that. Like I don't like
City living with a dog is tough.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, just it's one thing to like open up your door and let the dog out. It's another thing to have to like put your shit on, get in the elevator, go down the elevator, go outside, scoop it up, come back up, and do that several times a day.
The winter time.
Yeah, not a fan.
All right, dumbbells or kettlebells?
Dumbbells.
Fair. Top 2 favorite exercises.
Ooh.
Deadlift, front squat.
Okay.
I like that.
I like it.
All right. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay. We'll say it's a favorite Wu-Tang song.
Protect your neck.
Yeah, there we go.
That first
All
one.
right.
So, I mean,
Respect.
I respect that. Yep. So
right.
East or West Coast hip hop.
East. There's very few. I mean, I love all like 90s hip hop is
my jam.
No, I'm old. I'm older. I can't. Yeah. There's not much new rap that I enjoy.
Yeah,
and I train a few high school athletes, and of course they want to put on their rap, and that's better than country. But you know, with West Coast, there's only. I grew up listening to East Coast, so we're talking Gangstar, Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, all those guys.
Oh, Tribe.
But West Coast, I love Del the Funky Homo Sapien, the Hieroglyphics crew. So, you know, the Alcoholics, Far Side. But when it comes to more of like Dre, Snoop, Tupac, like it's okay. Still not necessarily my vibe, but
I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100% on that.
But East Coast by far, I definitely lean East Coast for sure.
I'm with you on that one. R.I.P. DMX, R.I.P. Black Rob.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, Black Rob! I didn't realize he died.
Yeah, he died. Oh yeah, 2 days ago. Sorry.
I didn't know that. Jeez. All right.
Sorry.
Another question about those lightsaber battles you and Julian have. Who I love them, by the way. Who has more W's right now? Is it you or Julian?
Well, you know, I have to boost. I mean, he's the Padawan. I have to boost his ego a little bit.
There we go.
He's aggressive. I mean, I'm like, I have to.
There we go.
He goes in when he stepped on you that one. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't. So half the time, I don't know where he gets it. Like he just like kicks me and like says, "Stay down." Like I'm like, okay, sorry.
Damn.
But yeah, that's a fun thing that we do after dinner. We have the hallway, so we just have fun out there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll end with that. I'll let these guys take over a little bit.
Well, speaking of lightsabers, I just want to let you know that I'm currently training Vivi in the Jedi arts. So in a few years, I say we have a battle royale similar to Anchorman.
We've already broken like 8 lightsabers. So
dude, I know.
Be prepared to purchase many.
Rock and roll. That's awesome. Tom, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I'll throw a few out there. I was going to try to pepper in some ridiculous ones, but now they're just all going to be ridiculous in a row. Well, no. First off, what is your max deadlift? That's more curious.
600.
Oh, casually.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I did that actually. I mean, I was like Greg Robbins, who you guys may be familiar with. Him and Tony, like former colleagues of mine at Cressy Sports Performance. They own the Strength House in Worcester, and Greg's been running my programs for a number of years. 600 pounds. Yeah, I'm proud of it, but I'm more proud of the fact that I did it in the year that I became a dad and I turned 40.
Nice.
So,
my God.
So anytime someone comes to me, is like, "Oh, I'm 40 or 50. I can't be doing this." Like, you can. I mean, it's in context. Like, you know, I mean, there's a process and there's consistency, but you can train aggressively after 40. There's life after 40.
There we go.
But I did it the year I became a dad. So there's 2, like, you know, 40 dad becoming a dad, like, and then I hit my 600-pound deadlift, and I'm not that far away from it still. Like I want to hit it again at some point this year, maybe this year. So like I mentioned, I hit that 560 pull back in, I forget if it was February or March, but considering with the Achilles injury, I was happy with it. So I think I should be able to hit it again soon.
All right. So you said you're from up around Syracuse, right?
Correct.
This is also one I'm just pulling out. Dinosaur barbecue, yay or nay?
Oh, yay! Of course, that was like the OG barbecue place for me.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I knew I fucking liked you. All right.
And if and anyone who's not familiar with that is like, I forget what, I mean, I'm failing to remember what part of Syracuse it's in, but very much a biker. And I'm not a biker. Like I don't ride motorcycles. I don't really care about motorcycles, but certainly a biker pad or biker plate. And it's like it has attitude. Like the waitresses there, like, we'll talk shit. Like,
I love it. I love it.
I love the fact you could buy their barbecue sauce in our local grocery store here.
Sauce is good. Yeah.
It's solid. All right. Nickelback, yay or nay?
Nay. Nah, I can't get down. I can't. Just out of, I can't.
No, I don't have to explain. I get it. Favorite book? It could be favorite favorite fiction book, if that's what you read.
Favorite fiction would be For Whom the Bell Tolls, or A Heartbreaking Work of Actually, that's not fiction. There's a memoir I love there's a memoir I really love by David Eggers called A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. That's actually one of my favorite books. But in terms of fiction, For Whom the Bell Tolls is one of my favorite. And also, shit. I read books. I promise, guys. I do. Like, I'm a big Robert Ludlum fan. So he wrote.
I love Ludlum.
He wrote the original Jason Bourne trilogy.
Yes, he did.
Oh, did he?
But but he.
I love those.
And those books, for anyone, the books are quite different from the movie. Like the Bourne Identity, like the first part of the books are pretty much on par, but like the arc of the story for all three is quite different from the
very
movies.
Different. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think he's written like 26 novels. I mean, he passed away back in like 2002, 2001. So,
wow.
But anyone who likes like spy thrillers, espionage,
travel,
like he's amazing. But yeah, like, I mean, I like a lot of my favorite author. So with nonfiction, Bill Bryson. So he wrote a book called A Brief History of Nearly Everything, or a history of, and it's you want to talk about something that just blows your mind, like in terms of like space, the universe, and like he's amazing. And his last book called The Body. It is not an anatomy book. So this is not a book where he's talking about muscles and insertions, but he's talking about like disease and sex and just how just amazing the human body is and its capabilities. And he's such a good. I hate him so much. He's such a good writer. But yeah, so I read fiction. I'm usually reading a fiction and a nonfiction book simultaneously. And then, but those are some of my favorites.
Awesome.
How do you feel about Guy Fieri?
You know what? I'm not that familiar with him. I know the name. I know what he does, but I'm not. I don't have an opinion.
People either love or hate him. I just love throwing that out there. People they're like, "What the fuck?" Favorite Star Wars movie?
Favorite movie? I mean, it's Empire. Empire Strikes
Back. My man.
And honestly, underrated. Like I'm gonna take a take here. So Empire is my favorite, and then it's a toss up. Number 2 is either Return of the Jedi or Force Awakens.
Ooh.
Okay.
Or no, actually no. Phantom Menace. I'm sorry, Phantom Menace.
Oh, gotcha.
All right,
the high racing sequence is so
I actually
sick in
enjoy
movie.
Phantom Menace.
I love Phantom Menace.
I actually like Phantom Menace a lot. It's just because I love Darth Maul. I mean, I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, Empire all the way. You can't. I don't know. You'd be hard pressed to.
Empire's so good. And Phantom Menace, I think in its own, in its defense, because a lot of people rip on it, the quote unquote fans or whatever, hardcore fans, that pod racing sequence with Anakin is badass. The lightsaber battle sequence with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is so sick. And the music is just so epic.
That's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite lightsaber battle. Is that one?
It's so good. It's just amazingly done.
Like Julian, he actually watches all the Star Wars with me. Like there's a YouTube video that has like they'll basically say it's like a link of all the lightsaber battles.
Oh my god.
So whenever Darth Maul and the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon come on, it's like, yeah, we're in. Let's go.
All right. Excuse me, I'll be back in about a couple
hours. We're not gonna hear from you for 3 days.
Yeah. Oh man.
What else do I have? Random things. What's your zodiac sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I
don't know what that means.
I don't know signs. Nope.
Yeah. If you could have dinner with one wrestler throughout the history of time, who would it be?
One wrestler. I would say, I don't know.
I don't even know if you're a wrestling guy. I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, I watched WWF back in like the 80s, early 90s.
Back in the day.
So,
yep.
$1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay.
Ooh, good
Jimmy
one.
Superfly Snuka. I think I was a big fan of the British Bulldogs. Tag team. But I guess I think I would just say either Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan out of principle.
That'd be a good one. Those are good ones.
Just because they were the main dudes. Or Randy Macho Man Savage, but he has to bring Elizabeth along.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it had to bring Elizabeth along. Yeah. I was a big fan of Elizabeth back then. She was probably one of my first crushes.
Oh, absolutely. All right, I only got two more. One, so you're a baseball guy. Who's your favorite MLB player to watch today?
I don't have one. It's sad. Since I left Cressy Sports Performance, like I don't watch much baseball.
Okay.
It's quite sad because I'll put on a game here and there. Like I'm familiar with some names, but I'm like, I'm like, who is this person? Like the All-Star team is something. I'm like, who are these people? Like, I
get it.
All the players I followed from the 90s, early 2000s are retired. Like they're out. I guess.
Okay.
I mean.
Well, then all time. Let's go all time.
Mark McGwire was my favorite player growing up.
Mac Attack, baby.
I was a big fan. I was a big fan of the Bass Brothers in the late 80s, early 90s. So Canseco, McGwire. I mean, I understand the whole steroid era, whatever, but that's still there's a lot of nostalgia there with.
Of course.
With that, and I really loved I know last summer they released the 30 for 30 Long Gone Summer, so it was the whole episode about the summer of '98 with McGwire and Sosa.
That was unreal. That was
unreal.
Oh,
that was really.
It really was
really great to watch because that was just such an awesome summer.
Yeah.
To watch baseball.
And it was the Cubs Cardinals, so they played each other all the time.
Yeah. So Mark McGwire was my favorite player growing up.
All right. And last one, because we mentioned travel, what's your favorite city to visit in the world?
London.
I love it.
My wife thinks I must have had a past life in London. That's the city I've been to the most, admittedly. I mean, there's other city we had an enjoyable time in Copenhagen. Sydney,
Copenhagen's cool.
Sydney's an awesome city. But I just have a special affection for London. Every time I go, I feel happy when I'm in London. Like you can just walk around and like there's so much history and I've been there I think 8 times now.
That's awesome, man.
And I'm hoping to go there this fall. I'm kind of hedging my bets. So I'll be able to schedule something in the fall. In October to possibly go there and and present. But yeah, there's other. I mean, I've never been to Asia or I was this close to going to Singapore.
Ooh.
2 years ago, we were as part of like a Singapore Australia leg of presenting, but that the Singapore portion got canceled. But I think at some point I'll head there. And I remember right before COVID, there was somebody from Taiwan that reached out he wanted to bring Dean and I over to present. So, I'll make it over there at some point.
Awesome.
But yeah, without hesitation, London is my favorite city.
Yeah, I gotta find those dates when you're in London, because I'm gonna be in Munich for Oktoberfest this coming year.
Yeah, I spent half a day in Munich, and I'm a history buff there. At one point, I was a history major in college, so I took I was on my way to Slovenia to present, and I had like 10 hours in Munich to kill. So I took a walking. It's called a
cool city.
It was I want to say it was called the Third Reich tour, but like their headquarters were in Munich back in the war. World War II. So basically, you just walked around Munich saying, "Here's where this happened. This is where that happened."
That's so cool.
And that was just, as a history buff, that was unreal. It's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful city. I love Germany. I actually love Germany in general. I do too. My wife makes fun of me because I'm very much a rule follower. And I remember when we were in Germany, I noticed that no one ever crossed the street unless it said to cross. Like, no one jaywalked in Germany.
Oh yeah, no, they don't.
That explains a lot.
I loved it because I was just like, just wait your turn. Like, you're not special. Like, wait for the sign to come on.
That explains a lot. I almost got taken out by a bike when I was in Munich, so that explains it.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I don't want to get too far off kilter with travel, but
that was my final question. I'm actually glad you finished on Germany, because like DeMarco.
I
lived
love
in Germany,
man. I was actually feeling jealous because you mentioned all the cities I haven't been to, and then you mentioned Germany. I'm like, okay, good, we got something.
Well, I presented in Bonn, which was great.
Awesome.
But then we visited Cologne, and then Munich. I've yet to go to Berlin, which of course is on. I would love to go at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've been to Germany twice. And
that's awesome.
I've also heard Hamburg is beautiful too.
Same.
It is. It's very beautiful. I lived there for 10 years. My mom is a 20-year Army veteran, so she's a badass. But I actually lived in Stuttgart for a few years. I went to Kaiserslautern. And since you're a history guy, I definitely recommend you go check out Bamberg. And in the southern Bavarian region, that city was actually spared. I don't know why, but for some reason it was spared during the Allied bombing during World War II. So most of those buildings are, still from time pre-war, which is really cool. They didn't have to rebuild it. And there's a little bridge that goes over the oh God, I'm blanking on the name of the river now, but it's just stunning, Tony. It's like, it's out of a storybook. So you got to check it out one day.
I know I've said it. I can't wait to travel again.
I know.
Can't wait.
Well, we need to set it up to where we can meet you up in Europe, and we can have a pint and talk about and all kinds of crap.
Next summer for sure. I know my wife and I and my buddy Luke are planning on, like, there's going to be like a Denmark, Sweden, and Belfast, London. Like,
you gotta
it's probably going to be like a month where it'll be like travel, work, presenting.
Yeah,
because we had to cancel a ton of stuff last summer for obvious reasons. Yeah. But I'm hoping that maybe we'll be able to reconvene that next year.
Yeah. If you can get to Bergen, Norway, do it.
I've been to Oslo. Is that still the only part of Norway I've been to is Oslo?
Yeah. Bergen's awesome.
I'd love to go back. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. We that's where we went to Copenhagen, and we also went to Stockholm. And I have a really good friend that lives in Sweden, an American friend. He married a Swedish woman, and they live in Sweden now. So I'll hopefully go back there too. But
that's awesome.
Good for them.
Yeah, he figured it out. He did a good job.
That's cool. All right. My rapid fire is done. It's all on you, DeMarco. If you have anything else.
Finish us off.
My follow-up's not going to be nearly as strong, but Sith or Jedi?
I like evil shit. And it's funny, like my 4-year-old it actually scares me, like how he loves like Sith, orcs, dragons, like he just like whoa, like he just likes evil stuff.
He's a future D&D player.
Megatron, like all, like he's Skeletor, like he likes all the evil characters. all the bad guys.
Did he think that Thanos had a great idea? Was he on
well,
that?
we haven't gotten too far down the track with Marvel stuff yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I like, I think, I like Sith. Give me Team Sith.
I don't think you have anything to worry about until he sides with Voldemort.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad,
Sorry,
glad you said that. Oh, no, you're good. Batman or Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Okay, all right. Yep, I figured you'd say that.
Yeah.
If you could choose one superpower to have, what would it be? I mean, minus superhuman strength, because you already have that, but, something else.
Oh, please. I actually heard a really witty answer not too long ago from one of my kids, because this question came up. And we talk about superpowers, and he said something really witty where I was like, you know what? That's actually a great idea. And I can't remember it for the life of me. I'll disagree. I'll say, the strength component or flying would probably be my
flying
go-to.
Would be sick.
That's standard.
But it's still standard. Yeah. I really wish I would have remembered because he had a really great answer. I was like, oh man, that's actually a really good idea. I mean, maybe it was like, the ability to, maybe it's something along the lines of the ability to absorb someone else's like strengths, like whatever that is. Like
from Heroes, Peter Petrelli from Heroes.
So, or maybe that, So basically, like whatever whatever your adversary's strength is, like you can absorb it and reflect it back, or something to that effect.
Or like Rogue. I guess Rogue from X-Men can do that too. So that's kind of a cool. Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
All right.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'll take that one.
There we go. Oh, here's one: X-Men or the Avengers.
I like X-Men just because they're misfits, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which I kind of gravitate more toward. So X-Men would be my pick.
That's a great answer. Yeah. Sweet. I think that's all I got, man. You guys had much better questions than I did. And so Eric was kind of I gotta let you guys know, he and I planned all of this yesterday, and I didn't know that all the questions we came up with were going to be his. So we can't.
Eric kind of just bulldogged that.
Took them all.
Eric just bulldogged. He's like, no, I'm going first. I want to take everything we thought of.
What's your favorite day of the week?
You put your left sock on or your right sock first?
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, Tony, we don't want to take up too much more of your time.
This is a pleasure.
Appreciate you being on. Thanks, man. For those that don't already know you and they're kind of just now getting to know you through the show, where can people find you online on the interweb if they want to read your work, see your videos, and potentially want to do coaching with you?
Yeah, that's home base is my name, so TonyGentilcore.com. That's blog, that's resources, that's social media, contact page, all that stuff. So that would be the easiest place to get a hold of me.
Perfect. Awesome. And I'm going to jump in for one more. So I told you that I obviously have a baby with me. It's my baby, by the way. I didn't run away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's my baby.
Out the whole time.
There's a bicep workout here, bro. What would be your, so Vivi here is 12. Oh God, almost 13 weeks old. What would be your number one tip for a new dad?
I actually wrote about this back in because my little guy was born in 2017.
Okay.
And I remember I wrote a blog post where when he turned 1, I was like a year, something to the effect of like lessons learned from a year of being a dad. So I'm gonna send that to you to see
thank you. Yeah.
But because then, I mean, I know I wrote it. I just don't remember what I wrote. I'm sure there's very, very sage advice and very reflective.
Yeah.
But for any dads listening with newborns or young kids, don't give up on your fitness, of course. But understand too that there's going to be a degree of pumping the brakes, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, don't pressure I feel like we put a lot of pressure ourselves that we have to maintain a certain level of fitness and that we have to like get back to where we were. And no, like you kind of have to meet yourself where you're at. And certainly when you have a kid in play, priorities are going to be a bit shifted. And then
absolutely.
If you're someone who's used to going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, like, you might have to marry yourself to 2 or 3 and be fine with that. You can still make great progress. Like, you can, you'll be surprised on how much you can maintain, just kind of subtly reminding the body of what it's like to hold something heavy. You're going to maintain a lot more than you think. Even though you have a reduced volume or even a reduced number of days you're going to the gym. And certainly, sleep when you can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the challenge for sure. I mean, you've played the game longer than I have, so you know how it is.
The sleep hygiene is massive, but my wife read a book that was no joke, like, I don't know, this thick on developing like sleep hygiene, sleep patterns with little ones, and so she was kind of prepared for doing that, and like what it was going to take to because our kid was colicky out of the gate, so for the first,
mine is too.
The first 6-7 weeks of his life sucked.
We're tough. Yep.
And it's funny. It kind of flips. I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it was the same for you, but it kind of like suddenly just stops.
It's been a slow transition, but it's certainly getting better. Yeah, it's definitely better. Because initially she would just fuss as soon as you set her down. The first like 6 weeks, it's like we were basically, my wife and I were 2 soldiers at war in a foxhole, taking turns covering the perimeter.
Yes. So I don't know if my advice is like that sage, but yeah, since this is more or less a kind of a life and fitness podcast, I would just the real big theme is like don't pressure yourself into thinking that you have to work out, but just do what you can, and that you'll be surprised in how far that will take you.
That's a great reminder. Thanks, man. Because I definitely get frustrated when I can't do, what I was used to doing. But it's like you said, you got to meet yourself where you're at. I think that's a great takeaway.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I mean, I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah,
we have the dad joke.
Besides that, like, we wrap up with the dad joke. Anything beforehand? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're good. I think. Yeah, we've covered our grounds.
I like these sort of podcasts where it's like there's a tone of fitness, but it's really just about life and
totally
having fun and
getting to know the people you're on.
That's the thing, like with fitness, especially when you talk to other fitness professionals. I think an important message to make with them is like there's a lot of stuff outside of life than just fitness. Like
absolutely, man.
And whenever I present and when I write, like I do try to get off that vibe. Like there's other stuff I enjoy other than I'm not just only lifting weights and eating celery sticks. Like
wait, what? Why not?
There's many things there. I enjoy movies. I enjoy pizza. I enjoy my kid and I when the last 2 weekends, my wife went away. So, we call it 2 dudes being bros. And, we went and had pizza and ice cream. We watched the Hobbit and,
okay.
I think it's important for fitness professionals to have a life outside of fitness. That's why I like talking about travel and books and movies so much. Like, when I'm in sessions with clients, I mean, yes, I'm focused on their session, their technique, and their program, but oftentimes we get on diatribes on what we're watching on Netflix or like, what's a good book you read lately? Like, maybe I'll look into that, or I don't know. I'm going off, but I enjoy these types of shows because it's a nice it's refreshing.
Awesome, happily to do it.
Yeah.
That made me feel. I'm good for the day. That made me feel real good.
Awesome.
I think I'm just trying to procrastinate from telling a really lame dad joke. So,
no, trust me, it's expected.
It's okay. We all usually have one anyway. But what you got, Tony?
All right. Yep. So mine, it is lame. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
I know the answer. I'm not going to say it.
Oh,
you know the answer already, Tommy?
Yeah, you know the answer.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm thinking about his
Dude,
movie
that is
title.
so lame that he already knows it.
It's so great. It's so great.
I'm gonna look this up now.
No,
Oh, damn.
You ready,
What's the
guys?
answer?
No,
Yeah.
Follow the Fresh Prince.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Oh,
my
that definitely
God.
qualified. Oh, that qualified. I'm good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
And
thanks, guys.
technically,
Thanks, guys.
any joke you said would have been a dad joke. So
Yeah.
Exactly. That's fantastic.
Oh, man.
Well, Tony, do you have anything you want to kind of leave us with? Any
Oh no!
takeaways
This
or anything
no.
you're thinking
I
of?
just this was an enjoyable experience. Thank you, fellas.
Awesome.
This is no. It was just it was a very pleasant experience. To, like I love talking about fitness, but it's nice to not talk about fitness. So
Yeah.
We're glad to hear that. That's
Totally.
yeah, just like you, we love fitness obviously too, but it's like you said, there's more to life than fitness.
yeah, and I hope to cross paths soon. Like I'm sure we're all within a 4-mile radius of each
absolutely.
other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Tony, I'm definitely going to be reaching out to talk travel and
Well,
when you actually will be in London in October because I want to continue after Oktoberfest.
If he makes it out of there.
Yeah, if I do, that's a big if. And also about like pretty much advice if you had anything. Like I'll reach out. We don't do it now. About
at some
when
point,
you first opened Core.
Yeah, at some point, pre-COVID, I mean, it wasn't uncommon for me to have a coach or two there observing, shadowing. My clients are used to it, so anytime you guys want to come over and hang out for a few hours, I'm always happy to do it. Like I'm an open book.
Tempt me with a good time.
I'm an open book. Like I don't charge. Like I think that's silly. I'm more than happy to have people come and hang out for a few hours and watch, observe, talk shop, whatever.
Awesome.
Listen to Gangstar.
I'm down.
Yes.
I'm down.
Sold.
That's a hell of an invitation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Especially if I get the larger space, then I'm definitely going to have a kind of like a
stadium seating
opening of some sort. Yeah. Oh, I wish. Oh man.
Stadium seating.
Here we go.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
DeMarco,
Well, guys,
send us off.
Yeah, I guess we gotta close this thing out. Tony, thank you again so much for your time. We absolutely enjoyed talking with you about all this stuff. A lot of similarities. You and I definitely need to talk about travel, but Robert Ludlum as well. I'm actually very passionate about the Bourne books and about how they are so much better than those movies. As far as the complexity of the Jason Bourne, David Webb
great. I mean, I love the movies too, but the books are
they're good.
Oh man, the books are deep. I love them. Yeah,
his mental abilities. I think his mental abilities, his concentration, his photographic memory, and everything definitely just didn't. They kind of hinted at it or whatever. That's a tangent for another day. But want to thank you for your time. Want to thank all of you guys and gals for watching and listening. And we will see you next time.